Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on the 22nd of July 2025. What can I hear? Nothing. I'll start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present, and welcome any descendants here today. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. I note that 7 councillors are present at this meeting and we have no apologies. Confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of June 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Howard, seconded. Councillor Hudgell. I'll now call for a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dadu, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shrams. Carried 7-0. Thank you. Our declarations of interest, are there any? There are none. Now move on to question time. Question time is an opportunity to ask questions of council in a respectful manner. Please extend due courtesy to councillors and officers when addressing council in this meeting. We reserve the right to disallow questions that breach our governance rules. 30 minutes is allowed for question time at council meetings. Community members wishing to ask questions of council by video conference were requested to register their intention before 5 p.m. on Friday the 18th of July 2025. No requests were received. Council has received questions in writing from James Judd, Prabha Cuddy, Elizabeth Ryan. These questions will be read out and a response will be provided by the relevant member of the executive management team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The first 3 questions are from James Judd. The first is, when council officers claim that they've upgraded sections of footpath at a specific address this council operates from, how many years after the claim must we wait for the works to be completed outside 49 Queen Street, Colac? It's doubtful renewal works have been done at the site since the formation of this shire over 30 years ago, since council has operated from the site since at least 1936. The response is that questions asked in relation to this section of footpath have been responded to on a number of occasions previously. Maintenance works have occurred to address deficiency identified in the footpath condition that were recorded in programmed footpath audits. The second question was that will council make a definitive statement if it will introduce the planned extension to the centre strip in Murray Street, Colac, all the way to Armstrong Street, Colac? A, will it be done? B, by what date? And C, who's going to have to provide the funds to do the works? Again, this question is one that's been responded to on numerous occasions previously. Whilst council aims to extend the median in Murray Street west of Corangamite Street, as expressed in its Colac CBD and entrances strategy, it will rely on significant external funding to be able to undertake this project. Council cannot commit to undertaking these works without grant commitments from other levels of government. The third question is, how does the council explain that due to different melting points of various types of glass, only certain glass items can be placed in the glass-only bins? Since when that bin was introduced, it was claimed that the glass would be used to provide a substitute for sand, when to produce the item, you would have to crush glass items and not melt them. Also, to melt them, you risk adding more greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. That this council is bending over to eliminate all producers of greenhouse gases. The response is that council provides a purple lidded bin for residents to recycle glass items. There's no restriction of the type of glass bottle or jar placed in the bin. This material is all recycled. It's acknowledged that energy is used by glass recycling companies for processing purposes, but the material is reused and reduces the amount of raw materials that are required to meet business packaging needs.
The next questions are from Mr Cuddy, and they're in relation to the April council meeting. So Mr Cuddy's first one is he's seeking to understand the deferral of the Mayor's motion so community members may have the opportunity to submit their views was not answered because it related to a matter that was on the agenda. So the first one is, could the Chair please let us know why the matter was not deferred, given there was no formal process to engage the community, and also why the urgency, given that the issue in question was not relevant until Jan 26, and a deferral would have given the absent councillor the opportunity to be part of the deliberations, given the community interest in the issue. And secondly, could we have the practice of not answering questions when they relate to a matter on the agenda stopped so that the questions are answered? If anything, allowing the answers could assist councillors in their deliberations. In response to the first question, I'm answering on behalf of the Mayor, and I can confirm that as the Chair, he followed the governance rules in relation to this notice of motion at the April Council meeting. And in relation to the second one, around the timing of public questions, the practice of when questions are answered is as per our governance rules. Any changes to the governance rules will require a council resolution and would be subject to a period of public exhibition prior to any changes being introduced. The second question relates to the Governor's Manager's response to previous questions around the timeframe for people to send their questions to Council is accurate to the extent that it is what the governance rules state. However, as the Local Government Act does not prescribe an engagement process that Council must follow, these are in effect Council rules and therefore open for councillors to set aside on this occasion to meet the request of the community member. Will the Governance Manager accordingly recommend this change to councillors so it may be actioned promptly? The governance rules are adopted by Council and are the rules that Council follows. Any changes to the governance rules are driven by councillors and need to be adopted by Council following a public exhibition process. It is the Governance Manager's role to work with councillors on any proposed changes to the governance rules. And the third question, given that the above issue relates to a change by a single day, it may seem trivial. However, it was considered serious enough for the person who recommended the change. Could Council let us know if this was initiated by Council or a member of the community, and if so, the reasons they gave? There has been no change to when questions in writing are to be submitted by 5 p.m 2 days prior to the scheduled Council meeting. To clarify this, public questions in writing may be submitted up to 5 p.m on the Sunday prior to the meeting. And I must add, following all these questions, that councillors are about to commence a process to review the governance rules.
No, there's no participation from the gallery, except, so thank you. No, you can't, I'm sorry. Because we're in questions from writing and we're going through those at the moment. Thank you. No, we'll have questions from the gallery after the ones in writing. Thank you. Yes? No, the questions were in writing. We're going through those at the moment. So if you'd be able to take a seat, and we'll get to questions from the gallery after. Thank you. So.
Okay, the next series of questions are from Elizabeth Ryan. And the first of these is, on behalf of Road Safe Otway, I'd like to know if the Colac Otway Shire could allocate council officers and or councillors to attend our monthly meetings. And the response is that Councillor McCrickard is the nominated representative for this committee as per the resolution from Council's meeting on the 27th of November 2024. And I'll just read out the rest of the questions together, and then I'll give a consolidated answer to these. Does the Colac Otway Shire have a publicly accessible road management and or roadworks schedule? When does the Colac Otway Shire plan to commence and conclude works on Cons Lane, Cape Otway Road, important road safety improvements as detailed in a letter to residents dated the 30th of June this year. What training does the Colac Otway Shire provide for road maintenance crews such as grader drivers? Could Colac Otway Shire investigate installing an extension of the give-way lines similar to what was done in Main Street, Birregurra, which was in brackets intersections with Road Knight and Strawn Street, north side to the hall? A, Hesse into Ray Street, Colac. B, Austin Street into Main Street, Birregurra. And C, Strawn Street, south side into Main Street, Birregurra. And some background provided that this work was done after a suggestion I made at a council meeting after nearly being hit by my children's school bus when I was travelling in Main Street, Birregurra, at least a decade ago. The next question was, has the Colac Otway Shire had contact with the Department of Transport about installation of shade weatherproof covers for the bus stops in Main Street, Birregurra, noting that a new bus stop is currently being installed in Main Street on the police station side? Could Colac Otway Shire encourage the community not to park vehicles in and on driveways and on nature strips / road reserves, especially those that are close to intersections and obscure sightlines for road users? And the final question is, does the Colac Otway Shire provide written feedback to submitters for the budget? So I'll now just read out some responses to those questions. The road management plan is accessible on Council's website and establishes the frequency of road inspections, but Council does not publicly publish its schedule of road maintenance activities. Council will be commencing works planned in Cons Lane and Cape Otway Road as advised to residents over the coming months. Prior to commencing works, it's hoped to secure funding from the state government through its Safer Local Roads and Streets program. All employees in Council's road maintenance crews are required to successfully complete competency-based training prior to operating machinery. This ensures that regardless of prior experience, each driver meets Council's operational standards and is capable of performing road maintenance to the required quality and safety benchmarks. Council will discuss with the Department of Transport and Planning, the DTP, the possibility of shifting the give-way lines towards Murray Street in Colac and Main Street in Birregurra. We're not aware of any prior discussions with DTP on these matters. Council's had numerous discussions with DTP regarding the bus shelter in Birregurra and has now selected a bus shelter that complies with Public Transport Victoria, its PTV, requirements. Council's also secured funding from PTV to install the shelter. Advice on the installation timeframe will be announced when it's confirmed. There are road rules that the community should adhere to when parking at intersections which aim to prevent the obscuring of sightlines. Council will consider alternative ways, such as the use of social media, to raise community awareness about these issues. And in the last point, in respect to the adopted budget, Council does provide a written response to each submitter. Thanks, Mayor.
Just on that, Doug, if I could, just on the question, I think on 4, your response was the shifting the give-way signs towards Murray Street in Colac. What was that in reference to?
Through you, Mayor, I believe it's just the closeness of the stopping line or give-way line to where the traffic lanes are on the road, the main road. So it's about visibility of drivers and where they're able to stop and then see the traffic that's travelling either way. So there are 3...
I don't see that in a question, that was all.
I think that's the intention of what is behind the question.
I thought it was Hesse into Ray Street in Colac.
Yeah, I can clarify that when we provide the written response in the minutes. Yeah. About that.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes the written questions. We now move on to questions from the gallery. In accordance with our governance rules, we have sought registration for questions from the gallery. We have 2 submitters that have registered. I'll now call Mr. Tony Webber. Thank you.
First, I'd like to compliment the contractors who are working on Pengilly Avenue. They've been very cooperative. It looks like they'll finish in the 2-month period. As far as I can tell, they've done a really good job. And I suggest to the council, if it looks like you might be funding Ramsden Street, that you use the same contractors, because they seem to be very good at their job. I do have an additional question on the cat curfew. Cats can be trained to leads, and maybe this is something that the council could consider when they're discussing this. Rather than have cats locked up for 24 hours a day, and other people put cats in trolleys and take them around where they're confined in the trolley, and then they can be taken out and put on a lead. So that might be a solution to having cats locked up for 24 hours a day, if the council could consider that. Thank you.
I might just confirm on that. The confinement wouldn't that be similar to what's the confinement of dogs, that you would be allowed to have them out on leads and things already?
That would be my understanding, but I'd be happy to confirm that for you and get in touch after the meeting. But I guess more broadly, I'd certainly encourage you and any others in the community to provide feedback in writing as a written submission once the draft domestic animal management plan's on exhibition. You know, that's the sort of feedback we'd like to get from people.
Yeah. It is much harder to train a cat to a lead, but people do it.
No.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. I now call Mr. Pravakati. Thank you.
I just want to state that at the prayer that the Mayor says before the meeting, in the oaths of office that you've taken, in various policies of the council, one of the key features that you have is that you're there to serve the community and that you're going to act in the best interest of the community. But here I've asked a few questions which relate to asking you, and none of this is difficult for you to do, asking you to make sure that your rules are, if it can't be changed immediately, that you actually act towards changing it so that you're actually answering our questions, you're actually doing what is in the best interest of the community. So if you take, I'll go back to the first question, and I can assure you this has got nothing to do with the topic of the particular motion, but in relation to the process to ensure that the community, the full community, is involved. As I understand it, and there's a bit of contradiction here between this one and the one in relation to the question time, that as I understand it, that the rules do have a community engagement process. There's a community engagement policy. The Act does state that you have to consult with the community. The Mayor said at I think the February meeting that he wanted the community to have a greater say in this, which is why it was deferred initially. Yet the process that is meant to be followed, which is your community engagement policy, which is whereby you advertise it, you then ask for submissions, you have a submissions hearing before you make the decision on how to proceed, was not followed. So what's the point in this, in having those policies? Why is it that those policies don't apply, for instance, when I'm asking a question here, but it does, you know, it's pick and choose as to the ones that we decide we'll follow, going to follow those policies. I mean, we are not an interruption to the work that you do, we are the reason for it. So all I'm asking is initially in relation to that submission about the Australia Day celebrations, it's neither here nor there for me, but I'm interested in the fact that the people should have a proper say in this. And the fact that Councillor Hudgell did not have the opportunity to be part of the deliberations, the fact that the community cannot hear what is her views in relation to it was also missing over there. And there was no urgency to that. So can I ask, Mayor, that if that question could be answered as to what was the actual urgency, because the process wasn't actually followed?
In relation to the community consultation,
Yeah.
in the Act it states when you must do community consultation. For example, if there's a lease council are going to sign for 10 years or more, you must do it. Other community engagement that we do, we can't do it for every single item on the agenda. You know, the council plan, and there's several today, that we have to go out for community consultation, which then we have to follow our rules, which is, like you say, 6 weeks, but that doesn't apply to everything.
I agree. I agree it doesn't apply to everything. And in fact, the Act does not prescribe which ones you should, except for the council plan, I think, and a couple of others. But this one in relation to the celebrations was actually up to you. You could have decided, yes, this needs to go to the community consultation. And in fact, I think it would have been better if it had done. It doesn't, I mean, it's a democracy. You know, whichever way it falls, and then everyone has got to accept the decision. But that was not followed over here. And I mean, it's up to council whether you want to continue with it or not. I've at least stated what I wanted to in relation to that. In relation to the 2 days, the 1 day notice about the meetings, and I'm sure the mayor will understand my frustrations in relation to this thing, the time frame, because this was something that was highlighted by a previous councillor, that you're fighting tooth and nail in relation to trying and ensure that we serve the system rather than serve the people, is the way I'm looking at it. So I don't know whether the previous councillor was inaccurate when he said that the number of days is shortened, and I'm happy to consider that. Otherwise, that's all I have to say at the moment.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that concludes our question time for today. We'll now move on to petitions and joint letters, which are nil. Item 6, planning and responsible authority decisions. We now move to 6.1, J. Barry's Road, Colac West Planning Scheme Amendment C125 COLA, referral to panel. The purpose of this report is to seek a resolution from Council to abandon Colac Otway Planning Scheme Amendment C125 COLA Part 1 Colac West, and to adopt the Colac Otway Planning Scheme Amendment C125 COLA Part 2 J. Barry's Road, and forward it to the Minister for approval. Questions of officers? There are none. Well, councillors, there's a recommendation in today's report. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Potter is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm pretty pleased to be moving this, Mayor. This is a good result of officers working with the community to resolve a couple of issues where some submitters didn't agree on some aspects of what council was doing. They've been resolved, and what this effectively does is hasten the process to get some zoning or planning underway. Of particular interest to me is the J. Barry's Road situation in industrial land. This shire is suffering from a shortage of industrial land, and this parcel of land was categorised as providing the opportunity for expansion of industrial land, but originally it was proposed to have lots of 5 hectares. The market told us that that's too big for a lot of people, and by making this change, that now opens it up for consideration of other businesses and smaller businesses to uptake this industrial land. There's a lot of infrastructure that is needed to support it, but whilst we're proud of our existing businesses who are very, very successful, and some of our larger businesses are expanding, we need to be in a position to attract more businesses, to provide the opportunity for other businesses to come to this great shire, and this is what this will do. So this is a great result, I think, for the shire.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard is a seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, I'd just like to concur with Councillor Potter. A very much a common sense decision, and I applaud the work of the councillors, the Shire, to bring this to fruition. So well done.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Buchanan.
Thank you, Mayor. Just supporting the first 2 speakers. I think it's also worth noting that in other, I guess, subdivision areas, I haven't been supportive of council officers regarding stormwater drainage, but in this particular case, I'd have to applaud what they've done here. They've taken that into consideration, so I would be hypocritical if I didn't give them some applaud. So Thank you, officers.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor? No, I just wanted to note on this, I'm neither here nor there with the lot size, but it's one of the first things I did when I was first elected to council back in 2016 was to approve this development rezoning, and nothing's been done. And one of the big problems we have is the infrastructure that needs to be built with roads and roundabouts and things into this estate, and we're hoping, I think later on we will vote on something, but that the government needs to help contribute to regional areas to get some of this infrastructure built so that we can attract new investment. So, I'm supportive of this change going out there, but let people know that this council is going to be proactive in lobbying state and federal government for funds that they have that can help councils develop this land, and so the cost isn't just borne on the developers. And if they can get a contribution from the state, they can probably sell land cheaper as well, so which helps attract new investment. So whilst I'm happy with this, and I'm neither here nor there on the size of 5 hectares, I really want to push the state and federal government to contribute to our communities to help build roads and extend sewerage and roundabouts and things. That's just not borne on the businesses and developers here. We pay a lot of tax, we pay a lot of land tax, windfall gains tax, and what comes out of our community at the very least should come back into it to help small regional areas develop, and so we can thrive and create more jobs and opportunities. Thank you. Councillor Potter, right on reply. Thank you. Now we have a motion before us. Now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Dadu, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 6.2, 180 Springs Road, Yo, construction of a replacement dwelling and associated works in a farming zone. Questions of officers? No? Would any councillor wish to move a motion? Councillor Buchanan.
I'd like to propose a notice of motion. It's basically to delete item 11 in landscaping. That council moves the officer's recommendation deleting provision 11 to 12 in relation to landscaping. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. That's an alternative motion. Wouldn't it read just removal of 11 and then the corresponding numbers then revert back one? 12 then goes to 11, 13 to 12, 14 to 13. Yeah, and just to add the renumbering of the remaining ones to correspond. Yeah. So we've got an alternative motion before us, councillors. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Buchanan is a mover.
Yeah, I just think this one's in the farm zone. And even though it's only a house on a small amount of acres, it's still out in the open. There's a house no closer than their original home to this particular one. And in the farm zone, I think we just shouldn't hammer these people with too many conditions. And that one in particular, people should have a choice of what sort of landscaping and put what sort of trees, and shouldn't be too restrictive. We live in a free country. Let's keep it that way.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. To me, it's probably more of a simple thing. I think it's a replacement dwelling, so the landscaping condition, although it's a standard on new dwellings, I don't think it's that relevant in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? No? You've got to write a reply if you want it, Charlie. No? We have the motion before us. Councillors will now put it to vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCricker, Councillor D, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried, 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to items for decision. Item 7. We move to 7.1, project budget adjustments and cash reserve transfers. Questions of officers? No? There's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Potter. Councillor Hudgell as the mover.
Thanks, Mayor. I just believe this reflects good governance and transparency for our community, and there's some really important projects in there which all deliver good value for our residents.
Thank you. Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I agree with what Councillor Hudgell has said. Just like to highlight the potential allocation of $100,000 to preparation of detailed designs for priority road reconstruction and drainage, something that the community looks forward to, something that councillors and officers have discussed as a group, and I think that's a great allocation of money.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Howard.
Yeah, I'd just like to note that it shows, as we said before, transparency, and we did get from the gallery of the good road works being done in Apollo Bay, and I noticed that Ramsden Avenue's been allocated on this in this report, and I'm looking forward to have the same standard repeated. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. Right reply, Councillor Hudgell? No. In that case, we'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCricker, Councillor D, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to item 7.2, community vision adoption. The purpose of this is to seek council adoption of the Community Vision 2050 developed in 2021 and confirmed through a deliberative engagement in 2025. Questions of officers? There are none. There's a recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move it as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Dew, Councillor Hudgell.
Thanks, Mayor. The feedback received from our community panel reaffirmed that the current vision continues to reflect the long-term priorities and aspirations of our community. Over 70% of participants in the review process indicated strong support for the existing vision, which speaks relevance and strength. By formally adopting the Community Vision 2050, I think we're ensuring we have a strong community-led foundation guiding our strategic priorities and decision making over the next decade. And I just want to thank everyone that's took part in this process and making this community vision happen.
Thank you, Councillor Dew. Seconder.
I'd just like to echo Councillor Hudgell's words, but also I'd like to really double down and say how important it is that people reach out and they discuss openly what they would like from council, because that's our job. That's what we're here for, and we only know what you want if you reach out. So thank you to everyone who took the time.
Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? No? No. Councillor Hudgell, right a reply? No. We have a motion before us now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard. All those against? Councillor Schramm is carried 6-1. Thank you. We now move on to item 7.3, Draft Council Plan 25-29, endorsement for public exhibition. The purpose of this report is to seek Council's endorsement to place the Draft Council Plan 2025-2029, incorporating the Municipal Health and Wellbeing Plan on public exhibition. Questions of officers? No? No, there's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Buchanan, seconded Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Buchanan as the mover.
I'd like, this is not a notice of motion, but I'd like the council to consider a change or an additional piece to go in the... Are we on the right track?
Not really.
Not really? Well, we'll pull up then.
You're the mover of this motion. Now, are you wanting...
No, I'm sorry, I got it wrong, Mayor. I thought you were asking for comments.
Sorry. Okay, so the mover of the motion was Councillor McCrickard. I'll now call for a seconder. Councillor Hudgell. Councillor McCrickard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, the council plan is a very important document that we're committed to provide, and it's wonderful that the community has the opportunity to read, digest, and contribute to it. Councillor Hudgell used the word aspirational before. Well, that's exactly what the council plan is, and I think it's really incumbent on councillors to revisit the visit after it goes out to the community, to revisit and re-look at it and make sure that we're fulfilling the obligation that we've put forward to the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thank you. Well said, Councillor McCrickard. Yeah, I think this document speaks to the type of community we want to be, and that's, you know, to a place to grow, a place to invest, and one that's most importantly to me is a place to belong. And I'm really proud that this draft includes themes and priorities that we've heard directly from our community, whether it's supporting smaller towns and strengthening local tourism and improving access to housing, by placing this plan on exhibition for the next 6 weeks. I just want to encourage all residents, community groups, businesses to be a part of the final shaping of this document. And I think for me, the hope for this document is giving the community confidence that council is focused and that we're listening and we're committed to supporting a thriving region as well. And I just want to make sure that we use this process not only to inform policy as well, but to strengthen connection and pride where we live. And I commend my fellow councillors and the team and the officers that have worked on this plan to date, and just look forward to hearing back from the community over the next few weeks.
Thanks, Councillor Hudgell. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Potter, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, look, I echo what's been said. I just wanted to highlight for the community that this is a high-level strategic plan that has been developed over a number of workshops with councillors and officers looking at the community consultation that's been done. So I encourage everyone to look at it. Don't expect to see the day-to-day activities of council incorporated into this plan. This is a strategic plan, and work plans then fall out of that, led by the CEO. It is an important document. It's incorporating the Municipal Health and Wellbeing Plan, which is often a separate plan, but we decided to incorporate it into this plan, which I think was sensible. And we're looking forward to what the community sees in this. But there's been a lot of work in it. But again, don't expect to see day-to-day stuff. This is where we think the Shire should go over the next 4 years. It's reviewed every 12 months, but it's a pretty good starting point, I think, for this new council.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Buchanan.
I suppose when we look at our council plan, it's a terrific document that gives us direction to come up with some firm plans, action plans in the future. At the start of all our meetings, our council meetings and openings and everything we do, we recognise the original custodians of this country, and that's right and proper. But we should understand what that means to each of us in the community, and I think it means that we should do our very best to look after whoever is the current custodians. And I think that some recognition in our council plan should be to recognise that farmers are the major custodians of the land, and they have major historical connections at the moment. They've been in the Cape for hundreds of years. At the moment, their council plan is meant to be able to help people that are under pressure in their different, I suppose, what they do in their lives. And farmers at the moment are under pressure from various angles, reasons, and that's all outside their control. They're under state, federal organisations such as fire services, banks, etc., the EPA, and I think it's incumbent on local government as their last vestige of help to give them a bit of a nudge and help where they can.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to again kind of reiterate that this is a high-level document, and it's one of the major stages of us developing action plans that we will adhere to over the next 4 years. But also, going on the process, I just want to make sure that the community understands that we took their feedback, we deliberated long and hard on this, and with the help of the officers we were able to pull it together. But it certainly wasn't just a process or development of a document just to tick a box. This was probably one of the most important things that we did, and I believe that we've got it to a really good point now to go out to exhibition. So I'd like to congratulate the community, councillors and the officers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? I too encourage everyone to have a good look at it, provide your feedback, and congratulate everyone involved internally in getting this document to where it is. The previous council plan and feedback we had from the monitor that was here, that it was hard to follow, heading in too many directions, possibly with every individual councillor trying to have their thing in there from 70 odd pages, and we've got it down to the council plan about 6, but adding this a few more pages. So to cut it back that far and to have a clear description of where this council wants to head over the next 4 years and how we can develop action plans out of it, everyone should be commended on the hard work they've put in, including the community input. So I encourage everyone to have a good look at it and give any feedback you need to. But just well done to everyone, and I'm certainly satisfied to get this out there for a public exhibition. Thank you. Councillor McCrickard, right to reply?
No, I'm fine, thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, councillors. We have a motion before us. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to 7.4, Draft Financial Plan 2025-26 to 2034-35, Endorsement for Public Exhibition. Are there any questions of officers? No. There's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move it as the motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Potter. Thank you, Councillor Howard, as a mover.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Again, another good document pulled together, which has a lot of implications for us over the next 4 years. There will be a couple of notice of motions coming later that do affect our financial sustainability. I think, again, another one that is going out on exhibitions needs to be looked at carefully, but again, I think the deliberations on this were excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Potter, as the seconder.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Yeah, pleased to second this. We're required to develop a 10-year long-term financial plan under the Local Government Act. So whilst this talks to this term of council, it also affects the following council and so on, and it is sensible to take a long-term view of our finances. We're all aware of the challenges we currently face, and it's quite fit and proper that staff have worked hard to look how we address those challenges over the next period in the short term and the long term. And one of our challenges is our landfill obligations, which is going to put millions of dollars of cost and onus on council. And this plan has considered that and gives us a way forward and shows us and the community how we can meet those challenges. So it's a good plan, and no doubt will be adjusted over time, but a lot of work's gone into it, and I thank everyone who's worked on it.
Thank you. Any other council wish to speak? No. Right or reply, Councillor Howard? No. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thanks. We'll now move on to item 7.5, the draft asset plan endorsement for public exhibition. Are there any questions of officers? No. There's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. This plan ensures our infrastructure remains safe and functional and aligned with community needs. It supports long-term planning and ties in beautifully with our draft council and financial plans. By putting this on public exhibition, we're giving our community a chance to really shape how we manage our assets over the next decade, and I just encourage everyone to take a look and have their say.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, asset maintenance and renewal is again right up the top of our priorities, and I hope this gives the community some confidence that we take it very seriously, and as Councillor Hudgell said, it all connects to our council plan, our financial plan. So again, there's a lot of things for the community to have a look over in the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll get some good feedback too.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Right or reply? No. Councillors, we have a motion before us. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thank you, councillors. We move on to item 7.6, the draft domestic animal management plan endorsement for public exhibition. Are there any questions of officers? No. There's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor McCrickard, seconded. Councillor Buchanan. Thank you, Councillor McCrickard.
Thank you, Mayor. Domestic animal management plan of the responsible ownership of and the well-being of cats and dogs is really important. Australia is a country that really loves its pets, and just in general conversation here this morning amongst councillors and staff, we're a community that do treasure our cats and our dogs. So this particular plan is really important in the control of our animals, so that it creates harmony within our community, and that's really important. I can imagine when this particular management plan goes on exhibition, there'll be a lot of public feedback. For whatever reason, cats and dogs seem to stir up a lot of emotion, so we will look forward to some responses in this, and some ideas for cat owners particularly as how they can control their animals. So that'd be really good. So I'd just like to thank the work of the officers who put this management plan towards council for our input, which is really important. So thank you all, and I look forward to this plan going on to exhibition for community support and comment. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Buchanan is the seconder.
Yeah, I'd just like to support Councillor McRickard's thoughts on that. It is a very emotive thing, having pets that can sometimes disturb other people. But I think the importance has been shown the last few years on the benefits to mental health of having pets. It's a huge thing that's happening out there. Older people that have pets sometimes don't understand how they can affect other people, but I suppose the benefit to health of our community is huge. There was just a few misconceptions within the group talking about this morning about the difference between a dog and a cat, but I think we've got it right. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like just to comment that this is not a restrictive document. This is really about the health and well-being of pets and pet owners. So I want the community, hopefully the feedback, to see its benefits. I think it was a great change to the Domestic Animal Act that the councils need a domestic animal management plan, and rather than just have local laws, which is seen as a bit of a big stick. This is really, if you read into it, it's about a document about the community and community safety for pets and owners.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Right or reply? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McRickard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to item 7.7, the draft public art policy endorsement for public exhibition. Any questions of officers? No. There's a recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Potter is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Pleased to see this. This is a new policy for the Shire, and perhaps one that's been missing in a way. Councillors have committed some money for street art allocation. There's been other community proposals and you know, a wish for an art gallery and a whole raft of things that people have thought of or would like to see in this Shire in the art space. But we haven't had a policy around that, and I think this is a great document. I encourage everyone to read it and give us your feedback. If I can just quote from the executive summary, Mayor, the draft policy establishes a strategic framework for commissioning, acquiring and managing public art across the Colac Otway Shire. This is what this is about. Please have a look, please give us your feedback, but very good document, and as I said, I'm very pleased to see it.
Thank you. Councillor Hudgell is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor Potter's excitement over this new policy. I am also very excited about it, and I'd just like to encourage everyone that's not only passionate about art but would like to see our town thrive creatively to check it out the next 6 weeks and have their say. We're pretty lucky. We have some pretty incredible community arts groups and artists doing great things in our town already, and these are the creative leaders and groups that will have invaluable input that will shape the best policy and framework. So thank you to everyone that's put in a lot of work to this policy. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Right reply. Thank you. We have motion before us, councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Dood, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to item 7.8, Road Management Plan 2025-2029 adoption. The purpose of this report is to present the Road Management Plan for adoption. Questions of officers? Thank you. No, there are no questions. There's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Potter. Councillor Howard is the mover.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Again, another good plan relating to our assets, our main ones, roads. Also, I'm excited about this as much as the arts policy, because this will help us lead to other policies that will, I think, benefit the community, such as looking at how we get unsealed roads sealed. So I'm very happy that this is a step in the right direction.
Thanks, Councillor Howard. Councillor Potter is the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. This plan's been looked at by councillors and staff on a number of occasions, workshopping the contents and how it would affect our roads across the Shire. It was put out on public exhibition. We didn't receive any submissions in relation to that, Mayor, so I'm not sure what that says. I'm going to look at the positive and say everyone was very happy with it, because I think councillors and staff are.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No? Right to reply? No? We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour, Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Dood, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. We now move on to 7.9, Kindergarten Infrastructure and Services Plan. The purpose of this report is to seek endorsement from Council on the Kindergarten Infrastructure and Services Plan, which has been developed in partnership with the Victorian Department of Education and will be published in by the Victorian Government. Any questions of officers? No, there's a recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor McGregor, seconded by Councillor Hudgell. Councillor McGregor as the mover.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I see this as a very much a reformative plan for our kindergartens. The increase in hours particularly is really important to me, and the priority given to refugee and asylum seekers and those young children who are part of the child protection system. It's really important that our most vulnerable young people are given priority in this regard, and that seems to be the case. The increase in hours is really important. We look at our learning in key areas such as maths and English. You know, we're falling behind European countries and whatever, and the more early childhood development that we can give our young people, the better. It has been proven that they'll do better in school. So I certainly am really quite positive, and I'm glad to see this going out for this going ahead, and it's a very important document as far as I can see. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hudgell as the seconder.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Councillor McGregor. I agree. I think this plan also gives us a clear and evidence-based view of the challenges and the future demands that for early years services across our Shire as well, and it highlights there the infrastructure issues at the sites like Wydinia and Colac there as well, but it also highlights the advocacy and for investment and to secure long-term planning solutions as well. So I think most importantly it ensures that all children in our region can access quality early learning in a safe and fit for purpose for facility, and I think now as a mum it's a really important part of my world right now, and I just want to thank everyone for the work that they've put into this document.
Thank you. Any other council wish to speak? No, right to reply?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, councillor. We'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hodgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Duke, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. Thanks, councillors. Move on to 7.10. Review of sale yards, fees and charges. Purpose of this report is to consider a request from the Colac Regional Sale Yards Advisory Committee to review the fees and charges applying to sale of cattle at the Colac Regional Sale Yards. Any questions of officers? No? We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does anyone, councillor, wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Buchanan? Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. With the ongoing drought putting serious pressure on our farming community, it's important that council listens and responds, and supporting the adjustment shows that we understand the challenges of our local producers and what they are facing, and we're backing them in when they really need it most. And the financial impact to council is minimum, but the gesture means a great deal to our farming community. And I just want to make mention too of the incredible job that everyone's doing out at the sale yards at the moment, especially the Sale Yards Advisory Committee, and also acknowledge our council representative, Councillor Buchanan, for all the work that he's been doing out there.
Thank you. Councillor Buchanan as the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. I think this is it's a great result for the committee that lobbied for this change. We went the other way, then come back again. So terrific support for that committee out there. I think it's one small way we can say thank you for farmers for putting food on our table, and well done to the committee. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other councillor? I was lucky enough to fill in for Charlie at one of the meetings out there, and it is a great committee. It's the first time I'd been out there, but I think this is a great thing from council to support the farming community again, based on the recommendation from the committee. And I know the council is doing this and showing great faith in our farming community, that all the stock agents and salespeople out there will also come back and support the Colac sale yards a hell of a lot more. We offer a great service at a pretty reasonable price out there, and I know this will help get the stock agents to tell the farmers of the district and beyond to use our fantastic facilities in Colac at the Colac sale yards, and really support this initiative, and really thank the sale yards committee, which has a lot of stock agents on it and farmer representatives, and I think it's really the start of a great future of the relationship between our stock agents, our farmers, and the Colac Otway Shire. So, I really support this. Thank you. Councillor Hudgell, right to reply? No. We have the motion before us. Now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Duke, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm is carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to 7.11, Apollo Bay Aquatic Centre request to access unspent funds. The purpose of this report is to consider the use of unspent funds accumulated by the Apollo Bay P12 College under existing funding agreement with the Apollo Bay Aquatic Centre for the purpose of installation of new heat pumps. Any questions of officers? No. There's a officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Dude, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Dude as the mover. Thank you.
I'd like to applaud the Apollo Bay Pool for working so hard to ensure that they had the funds to allow the upgrade was possible when needed. Our community pools are such an important space for health and meeting spaces, and the town would be at such a loss if they had not been as prepared. I'm happy to move this forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'll echo Councillor Dude's comments, but just add it's such a great asset for Apollo Bay to have access to this pool, and a great partnership. As you can see, that the P12 College will contribute $60,000 towards this as well. It's a great use of funds, and coming back to council makes it a transparent process. So I think it's a win-win for all, so I fully support it.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Potter.
Thanks, Mayor. Look, I think this is a sensible use of money that's accumulated over a period of time, which is effectively ring-fenced for operational reasons. But I think bringing it towards to councillors to consider that the allocation of some money from those accumulated funds need to be used to keep the pool effectively operating. I think that's quite sensible. I know officers will continue to do a bit of work fine-tuning the agreement that we have with Apollo Bay, because initially the contribution to council was for operational, whereas this is more long-term stuff. But I think this is sensible, and I'm hoping all councillors will support it, and it's a sensible proposal.
Thanks, councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. Right or reply, councillor Dudu? No. We have the motion before us. Councillors will now put to vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Dudu, Councillor Howard, Councillor Shrames. Carried 7-0. Thank you. Now move on to item 7.13, Instrument of Appointment of Authorisation, Planning Environment Act. Purpose of this report is for council to appoint Adrian. Did I? What did I miss? Oh, jeepers creepers. I'm trying to get out of here. 7.12, my apologies. Community Asset Committee update to members and Birregurra Public Hall. Purpose of this report is for council to provide updates to community asset committees by revoking memberships, adding new members, and to refine management responsibilities of the Birregurra Public Hall, removing responsibility for public toilet facilities. Any questions of officers? Councillor Buchanan.
Just a question on the public toilets. They're used quite often in conjunction with the hall. So I guess whose responsibility is to look after them if that's taken away from the hall's responsibility?
Thank you.
Are they going to be locked up and not usable by the hall when they've got a function on? What's the future?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question, Councillor Buchanan. So council will be responsible for management and maintenance of the public toilets. I guess the hall was, they've suggested that it's not just, that facility is not just for the hall, so it's for the general public. So they felt council were better placed to manage that, so hence why we've put this forward. So council will be responsible for the future management. And sorry, just to confirm, no, they won't be locked up when the hall's in use. They'll still be available.
They're generally unlocked all the time. Yeah. So yeah, you'd expect that to be status quo.
Correct.
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, seconded. Councillor Buchanan. Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Our community asset committees are made up of pretty incredible local volunteers who give their time and energy to maintaining and supporting our public spaces across the Shire. So I just want to sincerely thank the outgoing members, Joanne Beecroft, Linda Perkins, Talisha McCain, Joe DeSmo, Wayne Sinnams, Philip Jennings, Elliot Stewart, Fiona Castle and Paul Castle. And I also want to welcome Heather Alford and Kate Bourne. It's fantastic to see new community members stepping into these important roles. And regarding the refinement of the Birregurra Public Hall Committee responsibilities, I think it's a practical step and allows the community out there to focus on managing the hall and the surrounding areas. And I think if anyone's had anything to do with the Birregurra Hall, they're just an incredible group of people doing some pretty spectacular things out there. So yeah, I think it's a great move.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Buchanan is the seconder.
Yeah, just reiterate those words of Councillor Zoe's. But when you look at the names up there, they are people that are long-term members of those communities, and the rotation of people through those jobs is fantastic, and they also, they're ensuring that the longevity of those assets of the community go on and on.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. Right or reply? No. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McGregor, Councillor Dadoosh, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. We now move on or back to 7.13, Instrument of Appointment of Authorisation Planning and Environment Act 1987. Adrian Whitehead. The purpose of this report is to appoint Adrian, Coordinator Environment and Sustainability, as an authorised officer under section 1474 of the Planning and Environment Act 1987. Questions of officers? No. There's an officer recommendation in the report, councillors. Does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Potter, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Potter is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. No need to speak to it, I don't think.
Thank you. Councillor McCrickard is seconder. No. Any other councillor? No. We have the motion before us. Councillors will now put to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dadoo, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 7-0. We now move on to item 8. 8.1, Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Report. The purpose of this report is to receive for information the Colac Otway Shire Audit and Risk Committee Biannual Risk Report. Are there any questions of officers? No. There's an officer recommended. Sorry, I'll start again. No, I can't get it right. An officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Councillor Howard is the mover. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I keep reiterating this, but we have one of the finest audit and risk committees, and the independent members on that committee do a fantastic job, and they are continuing to help the Shire in supporting our long-term financial and other risks. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hudgell.
No, I'd just like to support Councillor Howard. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? No. Right or reply? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dadoo, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. He's carried 7-0. Thank you. We now move on to 8.2, Report of Informal Meetings of Councillors. The purpose of this report is to inform on the meeting of councillors. It does not require a formal decision of council. Being tongue-tied. Now, urgent business, there is none. That concludes the officer reports. Where are we? Now move on to item 10. 10.1, Notice of Motion 360-2526. Councillor Howard, MAV State Council motions. Are there any questions? No. It's to be moved by Councillor Howard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Dadoo, Councillor Howard as the mover. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I believe these notice of motions are very important, not just for the Colac Otway Shire, but for rural and regional councils across Victoria. Again, this is one way that we can get our advocacy into the people through the State Council of the Municipal Association of Victoria. Both motions reflect, I think, or help us with our financial sustainability. One is helping us with economic development. We know some of the profit margins in rural areas for developers is marginal, so we need to help encourage that development. And I think the first motion kind of is not a plea to government, it is a very, I think, a very good request and a very one that should be supported by the MAB, which I think it will. The second one relates, I think Councillor Potter alluded to it before, that, you know, the capping of landfills is one that is such a financial burden on rural councils for our long-term sustainability, and therefore we have contributed over the years into waste management with our fees. They're collected by the Victorian government. The government really needs to release those funds or get those funds to help rural councils. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Can't remember who seconded it. Councillor Zood, sorry.
I'd just like to thank Councillor Howard for his hard work with the MAB. It's of great importance that we keep up communication with the government for support and steer change into positive direction, and all the lobbying that you've been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillor? I just think these are very important and they're great initiatives from the council. Councillor Howard to take to the MAV. We've got huge costs coming up and it shouldn't be borne by the ratepayer, I don't think, in full. And like I mentioned earlier, we need some of the money coming back from state and federal to get some of our developments, not just the industrial one that we spoke of, but also residential. It's all well and good that councils can go and rezone land to residential or commercial, and taxes and stuff go with that. And for none of that to come back to help develop these land, we see, 10 years on, 20 years on, things can't get done because it's too expensive, or we can't get the right people in to develop it, or it makes land too expensive then to sell in regional Victoria to get your money back. So I think they're great, and hopefully the state government will listen to some of these things. So appreciate it. Right, a reply?
Mr. Mayor, when I was stumbling over my word and I came out with good, I meant it's a reasonable request from such a council like Colac Otway.
Thank you. We have a motion before us. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour: Councillor Potter, Councillor Udgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Dude, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. Is carried 7-0. We move on now, councillors, to 10.2, Australian Local Government Association Conference Delegate Report. The report has been provided in the agenda for noting. Does anyone wish to comment? No. It's been noted. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. This concludes the council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. Thank you to all those in the gallery. I declare this meeting closed at 2:17 p.m. Thank you.